region. Like I mentioned earlier, three foundation, Early Beach Resort, and Media General came together to solicit help for victims of tidal waves that struck on the 7th of November this year. And well, a lot of you responded, you heeded to our calls, and you donated massively in support of these victims. And today we're here to do the official presentation. But even before that, about a week or two ago, my colleagues Johnny and Cookie were here to interact with some residents who had been affected by the tidal waves. And in fact, at that time, we saw clearly how badly devastated they were by the effects of this disaster. And they also interacted with the leaders in the community, the MP for Keta and also the MP for Angloga and K2 South, and also the MCEs. Today we're back, and before we start the official ceremony, which by the way has the presence of our group CEO and also all our bosses at Media General, we'll be interacting with the MP for Angloga and also the MCE for the Anglo traditional area, so they can speak to us about what has been done so far and the way forward. And so if you just tuned in, if you want to join in the conversation, the hashtag is TV3Newday. We're streaming live on Facebook, and you can also find us on DSTV channel 279. I have with me here Seth Yomevu, and he is the Angloga District Chief Executive. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us. And also, Honorable Richard Kwame Sefe is the Anglo MP. Good morning to you as well, sir.
Good morning, my sister.
I'll start off with you, Honorable, because clearly minority in Parliament has not been too happy, especially because of the absence of the tidal waves conversation in the 2022 budget. I remember that, one of the key members of the minority said that he found it very disturbing that it did not even make an appearance. And as a result, over the weekend, we saw what happened in Parliament, the rejection of the 2022 budget. Yesterday, minority released a statement, and they're saying that out of the 5 conditions, one of them would be the fact that they would expect the way forward in addressing tidal waves permanently in the 2022 budget before they will approve it. Tell us more.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity once again. I would like to use this platform to thank those who supported us since this disaster struck. I'm equally grateful to you for this opportunity. It is true that we, those who are for the minority group in Parliament, we are of the view that if issues of this nature happen, natural as it may look, it behoves of the government of the day to come and sympathize with the people. We knew that the regional minister represented the president in coming, but we are of the view that that is not enough. If you look at the situation where once upon a time in the Republic of Sierra Leone, when something of this nature happened, and the vice president of the Republic of Ghana went there with $1 million with other things or items to go and sympathize with the people of Sierra Leone. And what is happening here is even more of effect than what happened in Sierra Leone. And we are asking whether we are no more part and parcel of Ghana or whatever it is, that none of them, apart from the regional minister, not the president or the vice, none of them showed up here. So we were at loss whether we have committed any crime against this government. Look, let me tell you, my sister, when you go to Puvama, where you people went yesterday, Jaflagbe and Co.
Yeah.
If you look at the 2020 result analysis, the people in Puvama, first in history, over 80 to 90 of them voted for the MPP. And NDC has about 120-something votes. Even if MPP were to get 1 vote, it's even if it's 0, because the place is also part of Ghana, they have to be seen to. Now, always we have been making mention of Keta, Salakopper, and Co. But the real action, when you go on the ground, is seen around Puvama. Pokpokbo is a community once occupied by over 360 people, which got washed away.
Wow.
And we helped to move them to Jaflagbe and a few other areas. Some went to Adan. As if that was not enough, here we came to meet this Puvama issue again. Puvama is also 90% gone.
Submerged, exactly.
And nobody is showing any interest. And we are saying that, let's assume that we say the place is not safe for human habitation now. Can we now relocate the people? Fine. Even if we are going to relocate the people, let us protect the coastline of Ghana. That is our beef now. So, knowing this and coming up with budget that you will not make mention of this, and you expect myself as an MP for Angloga, my friend from Qatar, and then our sister from Qatar to also support this budget. The people who sent us that, they will not see us.
But the Honorable Minister of Housing, Honorable Asenso, said that he had spoken to the Finance Minister. In fact, he had laid to bear the real situation. I was hoping that it would represent in the budget. He's not sure what happened and even apologized. But he says, regardless, it doesn't mean that we're not going to fix the problem.
For the Honorable Minister Asenso, I wrote to him personally in my capacity as the MP for Angloga. What I wrote to him somewhere June that he should send his people, his technical people, to come and assess conditions, because I realized that almost every year such things happen, especially in August.
Yeah.
So I wrote the letter at the back of the mind that for the past 5 to 6 years, the dredging which used to be done at the mouth of the River Volta ceases. When we wrote to VRA and they came to organize a workshop for us, they made it clear to us that they stopped dredging because the dredger got spoiled. And the dredger will be maintained or repaired by the close of August, and that by September, November, they will come to start the dredging. Look, if you could permit me, I drew something here that I want to show to the good people of Ghana to appreciate.
When you're done, then we bring in the MCA.
This is a diagram depicting the current state of the Jita-Puvama coastline. And if the camera could help us, this is the River Volta flowing into the Gulf of Guinea. This is the sea, the Gulf of Guinea. Before then, there was a community that I mentioned here called Pokpokbo.
Yeah.
This is the current Puvama here. Normally, if the river flows into the sea, what it does is that the sea sometimes goes down and the river level will be up. So it will force the velocity of the river to flow very fast if there are no salts here. So if the dredging is done, or those days, if the dredging is done, the river flows freely. And if it flows freely, what it does is that it breaks the tidal waves here. If it's done, it means the areas that are marked here, you could see that the effect of the sea waves will not be felt here. So Pokpokpo was here. Because the dredging stopped and the sea continued to bash the coastline, Pokpokpo is gone. As Pokpokpo is gone, the river could not flow as it used to be. So what is happening now is that it starts to eat away sections of the Puvama land up to this point. When they did the first revetment or the sea defense, what happened was that it was done up to the eastern side of Jita, and leaving the western side of Jita to the whole Puvama. Somebody may ask, why is it that Adan is not being affected? Because Adan is also, the estuary is also here. Fortunately for Adan people, about 5-6 years ago, they have gotten the benefit of the sea defense. And you can see the grants here. The grants were able to protect the Adan lands now, leaving the eastern corridor to the distance. So as a result, this is the effect we are having. Now, we are saying that if care is not taken, by next year or two, the whole Puvama will go. The Jalpagbe that you people went to, we move the basic school here to Jalpagbe, to this area.
Exactly.
And the sea has gone to destroy this school too. And there is a community in between Jita and Puvama, which we call Atitati. Atitati is also likely to go if immediate actions are not taken. So what is happening is that you can see these areas. It is called, I key it as areas liable to flooding. The River Volta here, because the dam was constructed, all these places, if the river flows and the Bagri Dam is open, it comes to either empty itself into the sea, or the areas that are liable, it comes to cover them.
Wow.
What happened was that because the river cannot flow anymore, all these places, if you go now, they are all flooded. So our communities like Shima communities, Koma communities, all over, they are all flooded. Look, normally or formally, South Tong has not suffered any sea attacks
Tidal wave,
before.
yeah.
But because of this, there is a community here called Gamanu and Havi. The sea has gone to attack them now.
Ooh.
What is happening now again is that the flora and fauna, that's the mangroves and these things, they don't like too much salt water. So what happens is that when you go there now, we are losing those vegetations because the seawater is going to affect all these places.
Okay.
That is the situation we are having now.
All right.
So we are not saying that they should come and protect with the people of Angloga here, but they should come and protect the coastline at least. And the flora and the fauna that are found here should also be protected. People might not know why some of us are into this complaining. You know, there are some fishes in the sea, they don't lay their eggs in the sea because of the turbulent nature of the sea. So what happens is that they come to these areas around the estuary, they come to sponge. That is the laying of their eggs. They come to sponge it here. If the eggs are hatched, then they are the figurines or whatever are now brought into the bigger sea. That is the nature. So the benefit is enormous. It's not only
a small community.
I may say constricted to only the people of Anglo.
Okay.
That are our benefits.
Let me bring Honorable Yamevu in, because I remember that the Deputy Majority Leader filed an urgent question in Parliament, and he asked for the presence of the Housing Minister to even come and update Parliament on when the phase 2 of the Blekusu project will start, and, you know, moving forward, issues about tidal waves. A lot of people were expecting that at least for the 2022 budget, tidal waves would make a representation. Yesterday when we went to Japlagbe, they were very disappointed because they said that you saw what happened to them, and they would have expected that just because people have lost their lives and their properties, governments would have paid closer attention to them and at least apportioned some amount of money to start the sea defense for them. But that hasn't happened. Why?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Before I start, let me also commend the Media General and the Early Beach Resorts for today's program. I want to correct some expression by my honorable MP concerning maybe the government is not concerned about what is happening. It's not true. Because
It's not true?
It's not true.
Well, we haven't seen the presidents. We haven't seen the vice president.
Please let me come in. I represent the president here. When this incident happened, always I am there, reporting to my regional minister. From there also, regional minister also came. And we went to the people of Uveme. And a lot of government officials, the Deputy Director General of NANBO was here. The boss of NANBO too was here. So if that expression is being created and maybe we didn't take the people serious, that's the expression I want to correct.
Sir, with all due respect, not to interrupt, but then if this was an election year, we would have seen the presence of the president and the vice president. Would we not have?
Yes, what I'm saying is that we represent the president here. I represent the president. So anything that happens here, I have to be in the shoe of the president. So wherever I am there, more or less, I am the president there.
What prevented them from coming?
Please, what happened is that you know that the president went on leave before this incident happened. When it happened...
It was after.
Are you sure?
It was after.
Please, I don't want to be stretching these things too much Because, and what happened is that the vice president was around, and the regional minister came and stand in the shoes of the president and the vice president. So that's why I'm saying that we should not look at this issue maybe because when we want this program, we are starting this program, I feel that it's something concerning our people. So we should not bring this type of this person is not there.
Let me just say that we received that statement from Mr. Eugene Ahin from the presidency that the president was supposed to proceed on leave on November 13.
Yeah.
Tidal wave struck on November 7.
That's why I'm saying that if the president didn't come, I was here.
But that's the point, which is what I'm asking. I mean, let's not belabor about the points, but at least let's make it clear that if this was an election year, and the people in Japlagbe said it, that when it's election, you see the creme de la creme in all these parties come and ask us for our hand, for our votes. But something like this happens to us, and now the excuses as to why the president couldn't come, the vice president couldn't come. Don't you think that that would at least have eased their, the tension in these communities, at least?
So we, the people representing them, if we are there, so are we also not doing what the president will come and do? It's the same thing. That's why I'm saying that I represent the president, and the regional minister also represent the president in the region. When this issue happened, they all came. Because this issue at Fufema is not today's issue. Let's be frank to ourselves.
Yeah.
This issue is there more than 15 years. But what happened is that as now Fufema come to limelight, it was not done previously before. So always people are just mentioning Keta and then Salakope. This Fufema issue was there 15 years ago.
True.
So at the end, that's why I'm saying that let's look at it and see how best, because this is the time we are all giving attention to Fufema. At the media cycle and at the public cycle. Because usually people don't know that there is a community called Fufema. But we, the people who are here, we know that.
But at least this conversation has been about the people in Keta, in Cape South, and in Angloga as well. The question is, why did it not make a show in the 2022 budget? At least so that these people know that government cares and is putting together some funds to provide that sea defense. Because they're saying that they're not moving. Even if you try to relocate them, it's pointless because relocate them to, further inside, and the water will still come and meet them anyway because they're still between the Volta Lake and the sea. So what's the point in relocating them if the best solution now is to provide that sea defense?
Yeah. What happened is that concerning the budget issue, I think that one there we have to leave it for the MP. But then what I also know is that budget is just a process. They have done a lot before this incident happened in this nature. So at that time they have completed the budget, everything for presentation. Before this, the way we are seeing it today happen.
Could we not have amended it?
That's why we are saying that it's something there should be dialogue between Ministry of Finance and then the minority side and then the majority side. As we have just said, the majority, I think, is the deputy majority leader, Apenyo, brought this issue that at the end, the lasting solution have to be made for these issues. So at the end, and I learned also that when the Minister for Finance went to Parliament, they want to dialogue with the two parties, the majority and then the minority, so that they will see how best, so that the Tidal issue can also feature in the budget, maybe in terms of review of the budget. Those things can come in. So I feel that this is the thing, all of us have to come together with that united front, not to antagonize maybe government, and maybe government don't want to help the people at government.
But that's the perception.
That perception is not right, my sister. I know it's not right. Because we know, that's why I'm saying that this problem at Fufema is about 15 years ago.
Why has it taken so long for the defense wall to
So
be
that's why we are saying,
constructed?
as Fufema is coming to attention now, the limelight now, all of us have to dialogue, see our way forward. Because it is also my wish that my people of Fufema to be free. Because this incident is recurring every year, every year. So I feel that in preparation of the budget, as we have said, he has done before, the intensity of this issue. So the best thing, there should be dialogue. That was the Minister of Finance was there to dialogue with them, see the way forward. What they can also do, because we know that this tidal wave issue is not only in Volta region, it's in Western region, Central region, throughout all the coastal lines.
Yeah.
They have started some of the projects, but the other ones also need to come to limelight, so the government can find the needed resources for those projects to be.
But how soon is this going to happen? Because again, like I'm saying, these people are saying we're not moving, we're staying here. Unfortunately, they've lost lives. In fact, in Jaffa, they said they lost 3 people. Okay, but they're saying we're not going anywhere. This is our home, and so we expect government to do something about it immediately. How soon should we expect this?
That's why I'm saying that I want to appeal to my honorable MP that he's from the minority side. He's from the area. He knows what my people are going through. So he also to talk to the minority leaders. That at the end, this is the government who want to do something for people of Uvuma. So they should allow the finance minister to come on with whatever he has for them. If maybe Qatar will not be there, Angloga will not be there, before they take it up from there.
Professor Pianin has said, and he is, by the way, the director of Institute for Environment and Sanitation Studies. I'm sure you've heard that he said that constructing the sea defense wall and completing the Qatar project is not the permanent solution, because it will only transfer the problem to another community. So we need a holistic approach to this. What do you say to this?
Because they are the experts. Because the issue is that, look at what happened at Qatar. Though they have protected the area, but at the end, the last tidal wave also gets even applied at Agabedi. They have protected that place also, but now it is affecting our area too. When it comes to Atoko area too, that place too was protected. But when it goes to Adan, that place was protected. Yeah. But now it's moving to Uvuma, to Jita. So I feel that that's why we need the technical men on the field. If it is not going to be the sea defense, then they should advise government what government needs to do, so that at the end, this thing will be the thing of the past from the coast.
You are the MT in this area. Have you seen these professionals come in to assess the situation since this happened?
Yes, okay. Last, I think when Works and Housing Committee of the Parliament, they visited this place, some engineers also follow them. And last, when it happens to the EPA and those people too, they came in that they want to go and do some assessment, and at the end, they advise accordingly. Okay. So some people are visiting in our community in relation to all those things.
But we still don't have timelines yet as to when this is going to
for that one, I will not have any timeline.
But this is an emergency. It could strike again. Let me bring Honorable Sepe in. It's an emergency. It could strike again. Now, these people are saying that they're disappointed not only in the current government, but in all governments, because this thing has been happening. 96 is when it started. 2016, they say that happened, and that is when they had to move from Puveme into Ajaple. I think I got that name right, I hope. Okay. And so for them, what's the point? Because they keep asking for the sea defense wall to be constructed. And now it seems as if minority has gotten a louder voice in parliament asking for it. But when you were in government, you didn't do anything to safeguard their lands for them.
Thank you very much.
Carry on, carry on. I apologize. I mean, we're in a community. We're getting ready for the Foundation, Media General, and Ellie Beach Resort. And of course, with your help, those donations came in handy, and we're grateful. And so we have a track moving. So if you're hearing that noise, then that's probably what the reason is. But carry on, Honorable Sepe.
Thank you very much. As said by my DCE, it is true that problem has been more or less a yearly ritual. And people are also right in saying that if it were to be election year, we will have been trotting there virtually every day. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, you realize that this annual problem used to surface itself usually in August. And you know, elections are always held in December. So politician knows when to go there after the complaint, the sea subside, then you go there. Yeah. That has been the trick. To me, I think that has been working for them very well.
It's been working for you as well. They are not leaving you out. They are saying you had a long time in government.
Yes.
What did you do about it? Nothing.
No, we did something.
What did you do for the people in Fuveme? How come it is
No, we did something.
Okay.
It is not a 9-day wonder. They just don't wake up and that didn't happen. There is a committee called Angloga. When we are going there, you could see that there were some grants constructed, and you see a very long one which protected the coast. That's why we call it revetment. The revetment was done up to the end of Angloga, and it was supposed to continue up to Fuveme when we lost power. You understand? So we were thinking, when as MPP came to power, they will be able to continue towards the west and continue the phase 2 of Blekusu Side 2. Unfortunately, the sea will not see our MPP NDC color. It continues to bash us. That is where we are now. I was the presiding member for this assembly for a number of years before my friend even came. It is as a result of some of those things that when we were doing the relocation, we even brought the basic school further towards either Jaflagbe or the end of the Fuveme.
That school is destroyed.
Yeah, fortunately, the school it's my friend who came to roof the school. He just roofed the school about 3 months and the place got.
Yeah. So they've packed the roof to one side because the building has collapsed.
When you look behind that particular building, there is another building which is being
constructed
by the coda. Unfortunately, when they came, they didn't know that the city was to that extent. So I must be frank with you that the governments over the years, we have not helped ourselves. We thought it's Fuveme people who might have been undergoing this. If you go there now, you don't know whether you don't know where they are living. Fuveme too, they are also going away. That is the problem. You have to put it rightly. If we should relocate the people to, let's say, we say between Anyangwe and Tunu, when you go behind that place, the revolta is also there, and it's also flooding the area already. How long are we going to continue with this? That is why, look, let me tell you, when you go to Tegbi was not used to be in the picture. But Tegbi is also suffering the same. Angloga here, if you go to the shoreline of Angloga, the sea starts to eat it away again. What we have to do is that, as a government, let's do the conscious effort. But at any time, every year, in the budget, we put something there. So that even if it should be done 2-3 kilometers every year, I think we'll be able to protect the shoreline.
But you'll be transferring the problem, which is what Professor Penin said, that we need to find a holistic approach to this, because really constructing a sea defense wall is not the permanent solution to the problem.
Some people are of the view that there could be a proper way of solving this by dredging along the whole stretch of the coastline.
Yes.
They thought if it's dredged, you know, what people believe is that if there is any intervening obstacle before the sea waves will be able to destroy that intervening obstacle. So they are of the view that as harbors and what have you are constructed, if the dredging is done along that area, it means the sea will not carry that massive force to be hitting the ground. That is one school of thought. Another school of thought is saying that for now, government says no money. Let the VRA, which has the mandate to be doing the dredging, continue with the dredging. I was reading some literature yesterday night. I realized that a lot of works were done there in terms of literature work. But to put those ideas into practice is what is happening now. For the Volta region, we don't want to sound political this morning. Too political, but I will sound a bit political, though.
You earlier said you don't want to sound political.
I don't want to sound too political.
Carry on.
But I will sound small political this time.
Okay.
So
a minute. We will get to you soon. Okay. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you're outdoor. I'm sure they're all waiting, looking forward to the donations that will be presented to them shortly. But carry on, Honorable
Yeah,
Sepe.
thank you very much. So, for Volta region, for instance, if you look at the budget, government constructed about 40-something astroturfs in some regions of Ghana. And they propose constructing another, I think, 78 or so. But you not see one Volta region town being mentioned. Meanwhile, in the 2020 budget, the president mentioned it clear that those things should be constructed in the whole country. I was of the view that if it is the whole country and we are having 16 regions, we should be having 2 as of now, but nothing of the sort. That's with respect to AstroTurf. You remember in 2018, the same government said they forgot about us in the whole budget. 2018, perhaps we might have forgotten. They couldn't capture a line for Volta region. So when we confronted the finance minister, then he went back and brought an addendum into the budget. Now the budget was able to capture Volta region in terms of roads. But as we are talking now, none of those roads, none of them has been constructed. Look at
Okay.
the
If you want to bring that in,
So,
again, this community,
no,
they don't have electricity.
yeah.
Since Ghana gained independence till now, no electricity. In fact, we stayed there till almost 7 p.m. and it was pitch black. Okay, so if you want to play politics with this, then we can go that way and say that, then
Yes.
why did you also not provide? They don't have a clinic, they don't have roads. Your government, your party was in power for a long
Very
time.
well.
You didn't provide that for them
Very
either.
well. You know,
So at this point, we cannot make someone else look black when you also didn't do exactly what you're supposed to do for the same people.
as I was saying, I said we started few things, extending the grants towards the west, which my friend's party in government now stopped. They stop it. Go to the Blakusu. What caused them to stop the Blakusu one? For now, I can refer him as the president. The proposal he has made now. He's the president of the area. What has he done?
What did you do in
We-
terms of
we were
electricity,
doing-
in terms of
No.
providing a clinic?
As I'm
I'm
talking to
bringing
you
all
now,
those in as well.
Yes,
Because
you-
listen,
you are right.
they're saying, and you are aware, that even if a pregnant woman is in labor, she has to walk for 40 minutes, 45 minutes to the next community, or has to get in a boat on the River Volta to find a clinic. That is disheartening.
my sister, let me be frank with you. Angloga, where we are now, Angloga. You go to some sections of Angloga, we don't have electricity there.
But that's a problem.
That is a problem. That is why some of us say we should come to the scene to help let me be frank with you. This one, I must give it to myself and my brother. What we are doing here today is because of our efforts. That one, let's be frank. I was thinking that if we had developed this kind of rapport with the media all these years, we would have gone over some of these challenges. That one, truth be told. But we are saying that we as people of Angloga district, and now that you are exposing some of our weaknesses, it should be brought to the fore of the assembly members, the MP, the DCE, that it's not enough for you to say you are representing the people, then you go and sit at a corner somewhere. You should be seen talking as we are doing now.
And acting as well.
And acting and making the follow-ups. So for now, I'm of the view that, fine, the media generals here, other media houses also came to help, but it's not enough. For instance, when we cried that the people needed food supplies and beddings and what have you, people came in, and you have also brought this one. I don't know how to even count it. It's very, very huge. But we are saying that now we have to start moving from food supplies to provision of temporal sheds and those tents. Because I think they have received enough food items for now.
So they need shelter.
They need a shelter. And we have the view that it will not be enough for us to go to where the sea is destroying those available structures there. Let's go to a new place to start putting up a few of these things. And I think we will be good to go.
Okay, let me come to Honorable so I get your final words on this particular issue. So before we cross over, Cookie is on standby. She'll be speaking to some of the victims of the tidal wave. They're all here to receive these relief items. Let me hear from you finally in a few seconds. So
yeah, thank you for the opportunity again. As said by my honorable MP, this morning it's not good for us to be doing politics because our people are in distress. We need to see how best we can support them. On the government issue, at times, that's why I feel that we need not to be politicizing it. When you talk about water, it was during Kufuor's time, before water was sent to that community. Water. It was during Kufuor's time.
But you are also playing politics with this.
That's why I don't want him to be going to.
So let's not go in at all.
We should not go in.
Let's talk about what we need to do for the people.
Because when you talk about what is happening for women now, that school building, they don't have classroom block.
They don't.
It's this government that gives them quota, 3-unit classroom block, which they are constructing before the tidal wave.
But they already had a classroom block at the old Fuveme that was also
block,
washed away.
The history between that pavilion, as he said, when it was done during their time, if you look at that pavilion, I came. Then, before we restart all those things.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying is that let's see what we can do so that our people are Fuveme and all the coastal community where tidal wave is a problem there. Let's see how best
resolve it
so that we can solve it.
He says shelter. Where do we place these shelters? Because these people also don't want to move. They don't want to relocate.
What I feel that we should do is that we still continue engaging the people.
Okay.
Because what happened is that when government want to start 6 different projects today, it will not end today. Because if you look at the Qatar one, it traveled like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
The Agaveji, Blakusu and those things. It takes so many years.
Okay.
So what we need to do, I and him, is that we still have to continue engaging the people, especially with the stakeholders, so that at the end, that relocation we are bringing to the sea, we see how best we can do it.
Okay.
So that we fight for the construction of whatever the government wants to do for us.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. I've been speaking to Honorable Seth Yomevu. He's the Angloga District Chief Executive. And Honorable Richard Kwame Sefe is the MP for Anglo constituency. And shortly, we'll be speaking to the Afadjato South DCE, also the rep of the regional minister, to update us on what is happening, of course, at the moment. But before that, Cookie is on standby. She'll be interacting with some of the victims of tidal waves. Good morning, Cookie. All right. So Cookie, I think there's a bit of a challenge with your sound. And by the way, if you just tuned in, we're here at the Angloga District Assembly, and 3 Media General, and Ellie Beach Resort came together to ask for your support for victims of the tidal waves. You have donated. It's incredible, and we're here to donate those items. That ceremony will start shortly. Cookie is also around. Johnny is also around, and we'll be interacting with community members by the tidal waves, and shortly we'll also be speaking to some more government reps. Cookie, all right, over to you.
Yes, Bella, thank you very much for that earlier discussion. Now, I'm standing in the midst of some of the victims of the tidal waves. These are the people who are actually bearing the brunt of everything that has occurred here from the 7th of November 2021. Now, we just quickly want to find out from them that ever since they were hit by the tidal waves, how have they survived? Where are they sleeping? How are they eating? How are they keeping? And we've been told that almost 3,000 people have been displaced ever since the tidal waves hit this side of town. Most of them women and children. And as you can clearly see this morning, most of them here are also women. I don't even see where the men are. So I'm just going to start speaking to this lady right here. Davi Marakuku Indina. Marakuku Mefon. Yare Marakuku indicate fika cho ape vafi.
Marakuma cho pouva ma japlag be.
So I'm just quickly asking her if I can get a microphone for her to speak. I'll be very grateful. I'm asking her where she's coming from this morning because it's really important that we establish that fact. Tamebere fika echo. Okay. Gakere before tidal waves are they fineno. Okay.
Afia chapore mi. Emi eva japlagbe.
Okay.
Kakala 2021 ya chapo gavare mi. Tafi fiem ye gata po jimro goka jia ta family.
Okay. Ta echo hube me indiking. El district assembly fimi onna mi be mi mlo alo echo apeme.
Ma cho afama.
Won tonto apema. Away to ya. Ele what we.
Agba pa ko mi aka fie chapore mi yo re mi eva fi ma mi eva okloba kpo viara.
Okay. So I'm asking her where she's coming from this morning. She says she's coming from Hooverman. But even before she started residing at Hooverman, she was in another place the first time that the tidal waves hit town. It wasn't this year, 2021. And that's what actually brought her to Hooverman. And also again at Hooverman, right now, she's also been hit. And she's putting up in a very small place that she's been able to put up. Yade okwandu dume chilele me plenu miore elelewo.
Ayo va onana ma fie mi la papa va gblan. Ta we ba ichafo fa marara mi apo gbla mi apo nota. Ifi fie mi le fie no sesam na mi.
Ta awo kplendu do evilasiwa.
Evilasi.
Wamenene.
O ma dan.
Wamade 4. 6 children. So I'm asking her how she's keeping with her children. I asked her if she's got any kids at all. She says yes, she's got 6 children. All school da.
O school da.
Ta fifilare finole all school alo la peme.
Ola pa mago la school nyoma gaji yim tututu. Ola ba chafo gban school ho.
Oh, okay. So I'm asking if her kids, her 6 children are in school, and she says no, they are currently at home because, of course, the tidal waves have also hit the school, so the school is not actually really in session. Tanemi fon indimere esrolaswa. Fika srole.
Sronya la duama.
Ela duama. Okay, tanemi fon dire 6 children e wo cholesterol ta 8. Allo? Fimi hemi molona de esuna na mia.
Aw.
Mattresses woman and elemiasi.
Mattress some of.
Mattress one meve. Yamia 8 mile manager. Ele mile manage.
Ah, the view ko mi ko.
Okay. I'm asking how 8 people, because of course she's got 6 children, plus her and her husband, that's 8 people. I'm asking how many mattresses they've got. She says they've got 2. And I said, 2 mattresses for 8 people. How are you managing? And she says the kids get to sleep or stay on the mattresses, and they also sleep. She and her husband, they sleep on those locally manufactured mats. Davi akwenao. Matamponuna. Nyonuha Nyonuga Indina Olo Miracle Wonkore. Okay, Monica. Makpobe de Vidaka La Tajina, 1 minute last year. 1 minute. 3, the rest of the 3 they finole. Ola Fama, Omala school dawa.
O school in Gakalaka, Chapova, school hotel. School Yamaga GMU.
Okay. Ta indicate Fikacho Vafi.
Newtown.
Okay, Newtown. Female Chovan indicate. Before Newtown, they and not a pebubua. How many years ago? Yeah, first at Chapo dislocate me.
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, Fifilai. If me hele at Chapo dislocate me, Fifilai. Ta. Won't do me a pay mom and me ele manage.
If you are woman, so son, because Chapova Bramia no normal sugar. Town more for Nami.
A doca wele.
Maracuashi Chalaconami.
Maracuebe?
Machanashi.
Oh, a chanashi.
Maracu.
Ta hair. Tidal waves are hitting me, they still a gala ashicha.
Maracua.
Nuka Jana.
Ma flana aina. A Romotona Calami. A Vajana. It's a Paglan Woko. Mushang Domivaglan.
Okay. Well, I'm also trying to find out how she's been surviving. She also has 3 children, she's got a husband, of course. And I'm asking that what was she doing before she got hit by the tidal waves? And she says she's a trader. She would normally go to the lagoon or to the shore to go and buy fish, fry, and sell. But because of the whole dislocation, she's not been able to do that right now. Tare, Fifi Laide, nuka edibe government now.
Donc pour moi, je vais gagner ça pour la mienne chicho chapeau dodo.
Gakere obey wa move me koi tefa bubu tefa hewa komi koire achwa ma vafimi o. Do you want that or no?
Maroko wa ni manje.
No keta.
Ah ba afima nyomie le anyamo na afima po do na ta.
Well, I'm asking that the government has told them that the next option or the other option that we could also explore is resettlement into newer areas. She's saying that no, she doesn't want that. I asked her why, and she says it's because she's used to this place. This is where she's been all her life. So relocation to another settlement is a no-no for her. Marakuku Akbalo, thank you so much. I'm looking for a gentleman to speak to, but I'm not sure I'll get a gentleman right now. Davi, Afonama. Okay, the view of an LSU. One meton, a strong lasua. Fisherman, yeah. Fisherman, the Filadeficas role. That can make me a chap war. Okay. Fickle Fifila.
Malaja flag bay.
Won't to up a ma.
Maraqui.
Won't to up a man. When did you build it?
Strong.
Okay, so it was your husband who put it up. I'm also trying to find out where she lives. She says that they've been able to put up a structure themselves, and that's where they are. Okay, so where were you before now? Okay. Okay. Business. Nuka jana.
Majana mo na koko do magayi na.
Okay.
Why nashi?
Okay. Now, government bere yidibe ya do chofi koi tepabu fimi achahuma mefuma vago. What do you say to that?
Meroko afima ne mi ya ro nya do na le mi ashia. Mi ma te akwele fima wota.
Business, attend business let the pere siarede, allo? Attend business let the pere siarede because a chair for air factor in the first place. This is the second time. Do you want it to happen again the third time before you move? Government's be ya now a very comfortable place for you to stay. Business ya attend well let the pere siarede, allo?
Miatawe gaka zuba miasro a chapu do wana.
Okay. So I'm asking her that this option that the government is giving for resettlement, what does she say? What does she say to that? And she says it's still a no-no for her. I asked why. She says her husband is a fisherman. There is no way they'll be able to move from here. If they move from here, what is the husband going to do? What does she do herself? She says that she's into business. So then I probed. I said, but business, you can do business anywhere that you are. She says, yes, that's true. But then what happens to her husband? Davi, akbe na osia, akbe kakaka. Maifi, Davi, indina olo. Tare, Fifi Laide, I want to ask her what. Komla Dom, I'll be needing. Komla Kluche, I'll be needing you right about now. Fifi Laide, nuka edzibe government no now.
Maraku kuku koremia mi leba government ana kocha hu agbonami.
Echiagbo. Nepoti agbo na mi. Ko medzibe ya move, medzibe ya itepere. Nuka ta.
Chima mami.
Emao. Ta elevo bere. Name movie another location, you will not be able to survive.
Do I only la fie mi kate na obo. Osronye yi na toji na gbo na via mo ko ni wana na fi ko ina loma.
Ta akọ la kocho anglofi akọ yilome. Okay, it looks like it's just one song they are all singing with the same voice. Are you buying into resettlement? She says no. Her husband is also a fisherman. When he goes and comes back, he brings the fishes home. She takes it from here to Lome to go and sell. And that's how she's been surviving. If you move her from here, how do you want that to continue? Komla Kluche is also here to help me, especially with the language this morning. Because yes, of course, I'm struggling just a little bit. Komla, good morning. Thank you
Good
so
morning,
much.
Good morning.
Thank you for
You've
coming
done
to my
well.
rescue.
At least it's better.
It's better
So
today
it's
than
fine.
the other time.
Okay.
Okay, so let's speak to a few more people.
Okay. Marakula ko yono.
Wena mba chupi dalaku.
Achupi. Fike na momloma fia.
Madaku afia mloma lenye ba ye chapu adama. Nyama ku afia ra kama yo tama va hahara no vinyara ka.
Ela no vi ogbo.
Be.
Afina ni ela shio.
Maraku amana.
Amana.
Maraku.
Sronde.
Maraku ali.
Yali doke wona.
Ai na chapuji.
Yayi na chafuji. Ka afika ya momloma fia.
Miakata mi hahara afima na zadoa. Mi dona mudora afa ma chichina. Akwana kunturo na ranyi gbamlo na ajina nkako mi ga fun mlo ne. Aga fona.
Ye anwi chafu agbagwo. Anwi over made mi ha mi kpoda.
Maraku.
Nuke na kpo.
Maraku nu ya makpo yenya. Agbi ai chaparam ai chaparama makona kuntu amlani ka fifi ai cha ovanu mama yoko nu ya mattress. La maluna.
Molo kula mattress. Mattress nani?
Amava.
Mattress womava. Talaka mi mlona je.
Madone mamlani amadone na devio mlona ji nyanya klosonya mi mlona kuntu aji.
Okay,
so,
Komla, yes.
So what she's saying essentially is that since the waves came back, she's got 4 kids.
Yeah.
She and the husband. The husband is a fisherman.
Yeah.
She's living with the sister with the kids.
Yeah.
And then her husband, but the husband still goes to fish.
Fishing.
And then I asked her whether she received any relief items since the floods came. And she said yes. She's had rice, cooking oil, and then also mattresses. And I said a specific number.
And
she said 2.
Yeah.
2 of that.
Yes.
So it means that she and her husband and then the 4 kids.
They sleep on the locally manufactured mats. And I heard her say that the children are those who sleep on the 2 mattresses. That's what she said. Okay.
Fitia jirudo agbagloma be si defense wala o wogana mi gaka agamali fifia gaka labana mi ajola fika nwana jola mi loba mi joga
Mia da kuku nyaela mia chenye ba na mi jua mi manya doke mi gao. Goma se ba mia sro o chafwa unchikola. Mi nya gbledado. Na mi itafa mi nya doke mi gao.
gaka nwa fu da manami nanya ba mi loba mi jojoga la fuma ode achakwa chagogba the next moment amana kamanya da nanya ba mi loba mi ajola fuma ode nanya ba ga jagode magafa gbanyega wala
Maraku ela na mababa no jagba anya government bagba. Gaka dawe ba mi manya Africa yimi.
No. Enwi jirudo afa gba onya gaka awe la fuma.
Maraku ku
Awe ti ada daga. Ta ela banamia no, banamia move la fuma gba afi enwi ka wa wonamia, wa wenami. Allo?
Maraku ku
Ta milolo mafia ba yo ajo la fuma na nyabo di nwi ada namia.
Maraku ku asasa ba na mi jola afima mi manya fika mi manya doke mi ege awo.
Okay, so now I want to ask her. It looks like she's a little adamant about moving. I want to ask her if she's got children. If she's got children, are they in school? Is she not concerned about the education of the children?
Aba biamba viode o skudama.
Maraku o sukudanga ka chapo jagofia hika manya sasanta mo gata
Exactly.
Fiko skudama la.
O dam pouva ma japlagbe.
Pouva ma japlagbe. Et sukum mo kamode.
Maraku fifia mo kwa kamo arako.
Mo kwa kamo. Ta ye achia demia mo ga de school po.
Ye chiara mia o suku ayim hafi achava gban suku hoko. Iko suku ava toto.
Okay, so she means to say that the school is not even in existence as we speak now.
Yeah.
Because of the waves.
Exactly.
Yes.
So then what I wanted to ask is, she doesn't want to move. Is she not concerned about the future of her children? Now that school is not even on recess, but they can't even go because the school has been dislocated by the tidal waves. Is she not concerned about the future of her children?
Okay, aba bia maba ye malolo maba na ya hula fuma viwo pon gba yide eletamanu
Mara kuku
na nye bo letamanu kel nke jofi malolo maba na ya hula fuma
Mara kuku ni ejo finya mo lo menye ba agbena sonye toji na mo ubo amara plana la mo chona gbata afi hona ga kokpo na oji fifi anya taroje ba na mayira ta pare da magata gba kpo ga choga kokpo oji.
Okay, so she's saying essentially that the challenges that she has is not just about taking care of the children, but then what she currently does is when people go and buy goods, she helps them to carry it, more or less acting as a kayaye. And then that's the money she uses to help the husband to take care of the kids.
Right. Okay, now Kamla, help me. We've been speaking to women all along, but there's a gentleman here. I suspect that he may be a fisherman, but let's get talking. Efo indinalo. Merukunkore.
Nkwenya kutu awumi.
Okay. Kamla,
kutu awumi.
Okay. Evinanye la shio.
Eviwamane.
Eviwamane. Esrohan la shio de.
Mariakwe.
Okay. Ye echiare mia. Afike mi eva lefia.
Nyamato anyangwi fararanu. Fararanu.
Okay.
Toba miwa achawara miwa ka achiza ko batura mianu. Acha no roro miemie wom fifia acha baga roro miemie wom. Atoshiro mienye ko. Atoma ba yega tote toshimu.
Tawo efia ba achia madawo.
Awo kaka achiza remia. Na yaba ala achama ga miemo na ba jipochi na za bala chezane na agbona glora ganami.
Okay.
Okay,
so what he's saying is that he has not necessarily been affected from where he lives. Yeah. He has not necessarily been affected.
Right.
But then there's a lagoon.
Yeah.
When it rains,
I heard
the size of it,
the levels go high.
Yes. So that's what is a concern for him.
I'm a dogo school. I'm
a don't go school. Okay.
What work does he do and how did he take care of the children? Oh, so he's both a farmer and a fisherman.
Okay. Okay, so
he's both a farmer and a fisherman.
And then a fisherman as
so
well.
essentially, that's what he does to take care of the children.
Yes.
Now, so let's ask him, what exactly does he want right now? Relocation, resettlement, or the dredging? Which one is he opting for?
May the Almighty God reward you abundantly.
The Honorable Ablaji Fagomashi couldn't be here with us because he has some parliamentary duty outside of the jurisdiction. But if you're wondering if, like Etanam said, if this is the mandate of the media, 3 Foundation is the corporate social responsibility arm of the Media General conglomerate. What we have done since 2015, when the June 3 disaster struck, was to help over 15,000 people. And subsequently, we have done in many different ways for surgeries, for educational grants, and all those ones. Now it's gotten to the turn of the people in Keta South, Angloga, and Keta, and that's why we're here this morning. But Honorable, let me come back to you. The last time we spoke, beyond the relief items, you made a strong appeal, for example, for toilet facilities, for shelter for the people, because now their homes have been washed away. Some of them are trying to go back at this time because the water is subsiding. But open defecation had become a mainstay. Where are we now?
Thank you very much. We are still on the drawing board. And then I must be truthful to you. We visited the community, and then preparation is in progress. And then UN agencies also came to visit us, and then so these are the 2 key issues I mentioned the last time in terms of water, because the sea water passed through the dam, and then because it's a well, you know that the water is polluted. It's salty, they can't drink those water anymore. We normally supply this sachet water and all that, but the permanent solution is to get poly tank and erect some stand where water tanks and put water there for them to use. So that's what we are working on. And UNICEF and other partners are also helping in that cause. But as of today, it haven't materialized yet, but the process is ongoing. for the open defecation is an issue. It's an issue because this can be a pathfinder which will strive for other outbreak of diseases. Diseases like cholera, diarrhea, and then a lot of skin rashes also there. Last time we pleaded with the coastal development agencies, they came to do some screening, health screening, and then we realized that there are in the communities affected, some of them have skin rashes, which we are treating. They give medication to them. A lot of people had cold. It's also an issue. And then a lot of mosquito, malaria is also on increase in those communities. And then diarrhea. And then we have to be careful otherwise we get other waterborne diseases. So that we don't have outbreak of cholera. So the health authority, public health, is in touch. We are in touch with them, and then they're also putting surveillance. They have activated active surveillance system, not passive one, and then it's currently ongoing. And then we are all working, including the municipal assembly, to see how best we can actually come out of this challenge.
Right. The last time we were here, we went to the holding center at the community center in Kejikope. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I saw people putting up in an uncompleted building, started by your predecessor, on the Honorable Koshiga. But then, about 15 meters away from the place is an IPEP project, a 20-seater toilet for persons living with disability, which has now become a pigsty. Are you aware what's the forward conversation?
Yeah, I'm aware. That one is initiated by Coastal Development Pro.
That's right.
Yes.
Under the Special Initiatives Ministry.
And then because of this tidal wave, we have actually redirected our thinking. Because if that one should be in session, the consequences, health hazard, the implications to the people in the community. Though for 40 years, nothing of such nature occurred in Kejikope, but this time we have realized it. So we need to rethink whether to continue or actually do something about the place. Otherwise, we don't know. It's an act of God. We may not know what will happen next year or subsequent years. So we need to bring in experts, engineers, so that we rethink how best to actually complete the place and how best they can use it. How best can we tell in terms of situations like this, how best can we do so that at the end of the day, it won't create a health hazard or challenge for the people in the community.
It's now become a pigsty.
Yes.
Pig farm.
Yes.
Is that what it was intended for?
No. Because of uncompleted nature of it, some indigenes have started using it to actually make their living as, pig farming. But I think if they want to progress, they can relocate the pig farms and then actually get another place for them.
So you are representing the regional minister. On his table, what are his key priorities for these three affected constituencies or districts?
Okay, so the whole point about all the noise and all the good things that we all need to do is to make sure that even if there's going to be a situation like this, the people will not be really affected. So this whole thing has seen so many agencies coming in. The NADMO has been here, CODA has been here, the regional minister and everybody has been here. What do we do that in a situation where this thing comes up, possibly next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, the cry will not be as heavy as this? The Works and Housing Minister was here. He was here some time back. We're now trying to...
He was here in May?
Yes, he was here in May.
But he has not been here?
No, he's been here.
He's been here when?
He's been here somewhere last 2 weeks, thereabout.
Okay.
Yes.
To make another promise?
Not about promises. We know the system we run. It takes time to put words into action. Even though it is not an excuse, but we know the bureaucracies that we have to go on. And doing such projects involves a lot of money. It shouldn't be a project that we want to start just because of the political gains that we can make out of it, or just to make people feel at peace. It should be something that we would want to start and finish.
Well, but he made a promise in May when the tidal waves hit. By the way, the tidal waves had hit March, May, and October, dovetailing into November. The Minister for Works and Housing, Honorable Asenso Boachi, MP for Bantama, he had made a promise to the people that the Sea Defense Wall project at Blekusu was going to continue this year. Now, subsequently, the budget was read, it was not captured in it. And he says he would have wished for it to have been captured into it. Between the promise and the wish and the disappointment that the people have, what do you say?
So you can have a wish, you've made a promise, all right, but there's a process you need to go through. If the process hasn't been activated, it cannot be included. So what we need to know is to see how far we've gone with that and how it can be done. As I said, just including it or just starting something will not solve the problem. The problem is how do we do it and make sure it doesn't become a problem next time? Because we all know this whole sea defense, it takes a while to build. We're where a passion was started way back. It was halted. Now we are back into the same situation. I am of the view that government should ensure that any project that we are going to start, there's a proper laid down plan as to its completion. It is not just about making noise. Yes, if we come in, bring in graders and things to look like we are doing something, yes, we'll get the names for it. But at the end of the day, are we going to complete it? That is my concern. That is what I believe in. Enough of taking advantage of people's plight for political gains. I think we should move away from that. If we are not careful, we would always be doing wound dressing. And the wound will come again because we don't completely heal the wounds. So I am just of the view that we all need to take our times. That is how come we welcome all these initiatives from the private sector, from NADMO, CODA, the government agencies and all, just to make sure that we cushion the people for a while and then come up with clear-cut ways in which we can solve this problem in a way. This issue, humans cannot control it, but we can just limit its impact on our people. So it is not just about coming in, it is about making sure that when it happens, the people will not really be affected as it happened. Now, the cries have been here. You've heard a cry. I've heard a cry. The government has heard a cry. We don't want to see this cry or hear this cry again in the near future. Not to just come and make noise. We would make noise, gain the political mileage, but what happens to the people? I am not someone who thinks that we should take advantage of the plight of people. I am more result-oriented. How do we do it from start to finish? If this is the most critical area of the stretch on the coast, how do we tackle this part while we move on in handling the other parts? So,
okay, I want to take you back to 2016 because you're talking about taking advantage of the plight of the people. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in campaigning in the Volta region, particularly along these areas in 2016, said that we were going to dredge the lagoon. He said that. Now, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, that dredging has not happened. And Honorable Sefer drew a map for us and showed us how not dredging that would affect us. Was Nanado taking advantage of the people's plight in 2016 when he wanted to be president?
No, I don't think that was the situation.
So why hasn't the dredging
I was just being alerted that the dredging is actually ongoing.
The dredging is ongoing.
The dredging is actually ongoing.
Which of the areas? Which of the areas?
I have been briefed by the MC for
which of the areas
that is ongoing.
Which of the areas? No, hold on. Let's finish that first. Which of the areas along the lagoon is being dredged?
That will need, as I said, the Keta MC is here.
No, but you say he has given you briefing.
Yes, as to the fact that it is ongoing, as to the exact location, I cannot pinpoint because I am not resident here.
Okay.
And I haven't been through all the stretches. I've been here myself when this thing happened.
But the MCU works under the regional minister, and you are representing the regional minister. I'm saying to you that in 2016, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in his quest for power, had told the people that he would dredge the lagoon to save them. You are saying we should not take political advantage of the plight of the people. It was a problem for the people because the tidal waves hit in 2016 as well. The dredging you say is being done, but the people on the ground are telling you that the dredging is not being done. That's why I'm asking you, where is it being done?
Okay, now, the issue about His Excellency the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo saying that these things will be done in 2016. If there has been a delay, in fact, we are still in government. He's still the president. He still has some few years, 3 years, and a little.
The 4 years he sought in 2016 is finished. He
Yes,
finished in
and then
2020.
he came back that I made promises, and then I have done a chunk of them. I'm still left with a chunk to do. So give me the opportunity to continue. Governance is a continuous process. So if you don't get the opportunity to do it in a year, you have the opportunity to do it in 5 years. He's still in government, unless we're assuming that he's moving out of government tomorrow. So we have up to the end of 2024 to rate him that you said you were coming to do the dredging for the people of Keta and its surroundings. You haven't done it. So I think that he still has some room.
Do you think it is fair to make a promise to people in an election year to win their trust and wait for 5 years not to do anything about what gave you their trust? Is it fair?
Okay, so let's look at all these things in context. I am sure that during all the rounds in the heat up to every election, people go round and round and round, observing things and getting things done. I don't think you would admit that upon all the promises that we've made, one district, one factory, ambulances and all that, we haven't done them. There are a chunk of them. So we'll keep picking them one after the other. Just as you as an individual, if you decide to build a house today, you know what? You handle one part, you get to the windows,
I don't have
you
the
get
taxes
to,
of the people.
You get to this.
I don't have the
that.
taxes of the people.
You know
I
the
don't have the
problems we
power.
have.
I don't have the mandate. I don't have DCs like you working for me. I'm an individual. So let's keep our individuality out of the question. We have a state structure. My direct question is this. The man saw the electorates, stood on a campaign platform, heard their cries, and made a promise and won an election in 2016, sworn in 2017, 18, 19, 2020, 2021. That plight is still there. And the MP just drew the map for us and showed us why it's affecting even aquatic life, the economic life of the people and all of that. And you say because you have won a second term, we're still in progress. I'm trying to balance the two.
Yes, as I said, the reason why presidents come for second term is for the fact that I have started something and I haven't completed. Give me the opportunity to complete the things that I have started. So governance, again, is a continuous process.
Okay.
And that is why the Constitution gives room for 2 terms. So if he hasn't done that in the first term, there's still an opportunity in the second term, which must be done. And I'm telling you that we made several promises coming up to the 2016 election and the 2020 election. We have handled a chunk of them. If this one is not part, this equally has an opportunity to be done within the 4 years that we have left.
Honorable Kakbe, the lagoon is being dredged for you, according to the MC regional representative of the regional minister. What do you say? Is it being dredged?
It's not dredged. I'm challenging them. If it is lagoon is being dredged, I'm prepared to resign as a member of parliament for Keta. It's not true. I'm challenging them. I'm saying, I'm throwing a challenge to them that if Keta Lagoon is being dredged, I'm prepared to resign as a member of parliament. I'm throwing challenge to them.
Why? You don't want the good thing to happen?
I want good things to happen, but at the end of the day, it's not happening. You know, this government keep on promising. You know them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They don't have, we from Votary don't have us on the heart. The reason why I'm saying that is that 2015, NDC awarded contract Amandi for the first phase of the Blekusu Lane of the Sea Defense Project. Ended successfully in 2019. 2019, Honorable Atachan was Minister of Works and Housing, went to the people, commissioned the project, informed them that they'll be starting the phase 2 soon. That 4 years mandate have ended. The minister currently in position went Tidal wave in May, nothing happened. The promises he made, nothing happened. And then to add into it to our insult, budget 2020, 2021, there is no budget line for that sea defense work. 2020.
The minister says he wishes it will be up.
And the wish is, if a government is strategically and then actually to apply it, at the end of the day, they should put something there to start doing.
But was that not the reason the finance minister was in parliament on Friday seeking, if you like, injury time consultation with you to be able to inculcate your
wishes? Always afterthoughts. It's the same region when you are year of road. we were missing in the budget. And when it comes to see defense too, we are missing. We are not afterthought. We are not secondary citizens. They should take us serious. All is just a way of actually painting themselves fine. But I can tell you on authority, they don't have voter at heart to actually put those.
That's a very serious.
I'm making serious, I'm challenging them.
Because at least within the voter regions, I know that, for example, cassava and plantain processing plants were set up in T region. Some of them have been in T region. That's right.
Region is not voter region.
Yeah, I'm just saying that if you're talking of people of,
we are talking about voter
extinction, you have things that have also been done for you.
Have you seen? I'm challenging them. Even they should mention a single road that they have started and completed.
Are you saying that the government has done nothing for you?
They should prove to me
in your constituency.
My constituency. I'm challenging. They should show. Evidence is a name.
I just showed you an IPEP project.
Where?
IPEP, the 20-seater washroom for persons living with disabilities. That's right.
Is that what we call project? That one can be done by assembly members.
Is it not a project?
Oh. When we are talking about projects from central government, it should be something tangible which imparts on a lot of population, not few. I get the point. When you construct road, a lot of people will use the road. As I speak to you, do you know some of my community don't have electricity? They don't have access road.
They don't have what?
Electricity. They don't have access road.
Which community is that?
Go to Hagoji, Mamima, Launchima, Sumba. They don't even have road. Pregnant women have to be carried in lazy chair, put in a canoe, paddle for 45 minutes. Come to Hatogodo before they put them in the vehicle to come to Abo.
Have you made a case for them?
I've made a case, wrote so many letters to Energy, Ministry of Energy, filed questions in Parliament. Even look at the plight of the pregnant. Children born in that community, if they haven't crossed to Hatogodo, they haven't even seen vehicles before. This is what we are talking about. Governance is a process. We are not saying it's not a process. They can do it, but those, you see, it's a human rights issue. We are all Ghanaians. How can some people enjoy free water, some people are enjoying electricity, and some communities are not enjoying it? It's a human rights issue. These are some issues we are talking about. Earlier on in your opening remark, you mentioned the vice president. The vice president was not here. The president was not here to the plight of the people.
But the DC, for example, says that they represent the president, and so if they come to you, it means that the president has come to you.
These are the local people who stay 24 hours. If you want to see government commitment, it must come from the top. That shows the commitment. You know, in cabinet, when they are taking decision, all ministers are around, but it's not every minister who is a cabinet minister. So when decisions are taken there, some ministers don't know. They are not the people who are holding the purse. It's the executive up there. So they have to commit themselves. They don't have the boss to even commit that they are doing ABC. They don't have the mandate. The person who entrusted with the mandate of this country, people who have voted for the person, he have to actually commit himself, and then we hold him by his word.
I see. It looks like Gakwe is not too excited. You can tell from his tone and the things he's mentioning, they want to see the president.
Johnny, there is one interesting thing. I think that in Ghana, the only time we get to hear people drumming issues about the voter origin and the voter origin is when my colleague and his brothers and sisters are in opposition.
Okay.
When they are in government, everything about voter is silent. So for me, I've always said it that it's my wish and prayer that if we want the voter origin to be heard and always be in the news, then my colleague should be in opposition. That is the only way that they can keep drumming issues about voter origin. Because we speak as if we didn't get opportunity to do something. Government or governance is a continuous process. When you are saying A, B, C, and D hasn't been done, you've taken your part. You've played your role. You've done your bit. You take a chunk of everything. Strategically, when you are in government, you have a chunk of your people in strategic positions. How do you take advantage of all these things? Why do we always need to wait till the voter origin gets to the news when the MPP is in power? And I think that this is not genuine love for the people. This is political love, which is not fair. And I think we need to call them out that, hey, we want to see the same energy when you come into government 2048. The same energy must exist. There was somebody there before he came. What did the person do? You were in government.
So now he has raised questions about lack of power supply, lack of water, the year of roads, no road, the sea defense for no budget line for it. He's raised all those issues, and I think that your government is making them an afterthought. Do you share that opinion?
No, I don't.
Why don't you?
I don't, because the budget is a huge document that we all sit down and then put our heads together and draft. Electricity project has been happening. Even in my district, we've done electricity extension to certain places. You know that definitely, because our problems are a lot, we would handle them one day after the other. Today, your people don't have it yet. What are we going to do? How do we lobby the energy ministry and all the other stakeholders to get it there? Because just as you are screaming here, others are screaming elsewhere. My people are screaming. Angloga is screaming. Keta is screaming. Bando is screaming that we need electricity here and there, here and there. The point is that at every stage, is something going on around us. If yes, there is hope that definitely it will get to attend. But as I said, I am not so happy with all this huge noise about the supposed love for the Volta region when they are out of government. That love must be seen. That love, Johnny. That love must be seen every day, even in government or outside government. That is the only way we can bring a lot of development to the people
they
right
say,
here.
for example, that the budget, a Ajenkwa budget, which has come to Parliament, will not get their blessing because they are not represented in the budget. So, for example, you don't expect the Volta caucus to endorse the budget. That does not include them, excludes them. What do you say?
I don't think that a budget is completely silent on the whole of Volta region. His major issue is the exclusion of the sea defense project. You just said it right here that the minister says that he wished that it was part of it.
But where was the minister when the budget was being formulated?
You spoke again.
Where was the minister when it was formulated?
You spoke again saying that the finance minister was in parliament again to do some hearing and there. It is not about being an afterthought. What matters is that the things are done. You see, our political system is structured in a way that we take political mileage from noise making.
But where was the minister when the budget was put together? I know that as a pressman, I was given an invitation to be part of the consultative formulation of the budget. Kojo Ponkroma sent me an invitation. I know that other stakeholders were also sent an invitation to be part of it. Now, this is the Minister for Works and Housing saying that he wishes, or he would have wished to have that budget line included, when in fact he had been here in May to promise the people that the project will start in 2021. So why is he wishing for what he could have influenced to have been included in the budget?
As you said, the finance minister wasn't given an opportunity to speak. If possibly we had given him an opportunity to speak, we could clearly say that, okay, you still came in and excluded us. So till he gets the opportunity to come in and say something, we'll just need to hold that bit a bit till he does that. Then we can continue the conversation.
I hear you. Let me take your closing thoughts. We're going to do the presentation now. Yeah. What's on your mind finally?
Yeah, what is in my mind is that my big brother mentioned that we don't have love for voterism.
That's right. And you only make noise.
Yeah, you only make
when
noise.
You don't have power.
I'm challenging them and their government since they are being in power. The only government who develop voterism than any other government is NDC.
Because it's, it's your stronghold. It's your bank.
Yes, so you have no locus, even temerity, and moral ground to even mention that. Because for them, the least we talk about them, the better. We don't want to
who has done roads in Hawaii, for example, street lights.
Because of that one is political. The noise we are talking about, that's the noise. We are talking about entire voter region. You are talking about Hawkeye. He knew what the agenda setting. That is why he was able to.
He got him a seat.
Yes,
he took the seat
but
from
that seat, you wait 2024, you see whether that seat will still remain. I can tell you, see, when we are talking about people who make loud noise, promises, sloganeering, it's them. Not we, because they know they are aware that it's not their stronghold. That is why they are not focusing on the voter regime. Yeah, look at one district, one factory. There is no factory. Make sure the 18 district. I challenge them. They should point to me that this is where they put factory. Even in
have you made a case for it?
We
have you showed them where the land is? Have you showed them where the raw materials are?
If you look at one district, one factory, all are centered in Kuma, Ashanti region and Greater Accra. Upper East, Upper West, none. I'm telling you. And then those are where the factories are centered. We are talking about, and that's not what we promise the people. Are you getting the point? So you promise the people, you don't deliver. Go back to the table. That is why, whether they like it or not, the budgets have been rejected. If you haven't seen included in those budgets, Johnny, I'm telling you, we as a voter clause, we will back.
They say the rejection of the budget is unconstitutional.
What is unconstitutional about
that? You didn't have the numbers. You didn't
what
have
is the Article 104 states? They say majority of the people present. That is underline.
But you were 137.
Yeah, 137. They lacked 4 people. They were not even in a chamber. They were outside. Yeah.
Who was not present?
Ajosafo was there.
No,
let's not do
that.
Ajosafo was not there. That was not there. Roads and Highway Minister.
Dakwan Newman was not there.
Yes.
Ajosafo was not
He's
there.
not there.
So Okankwe South was not there.
Yes.
That's Dakwan.
Yes.
The Ajosafo Dom Kwabinya. Who else was not there?
He's not there.
Who
and
else?
then even Works and Housing, Roads and Highways Minister.
The Roads Minister. I saw the Amakota in Parliament. I think that at some point, Anod Dompre, the whip, came to call him.
Those are the people you remember in the morning. They were not there. These are the people chartered flight brought. Are you getting? Even with that, they don't have the numbers. I can assure you, the showdown is on Tuesday. We will see how they will go through.
Are you not unnecessarily punishing government?
We are not punishing government. They must do things that the Ghanaians want. We put them there, so must listen to us. Not to be whimsical and capricious to do whatever they wanted to do.
You are borrowing us HMS words.
Yeah, they are without being whimsical. And I can show you, Johnny, I'm telling you on authority, they have no numbers to even change it. They should better go and revise the budget and bring it back so that we approve for them. But if they want to go on this tangent, they will not survive it.
You should be conciliatory.
Conciliatory to allow people to mortgage Ghana, to make sure Momo is taxed. If they are paying you 1,000 Ghana, your TV3 pay you through Momo, they will take income tax. After taking income tax, if you are sending money to your mom, they take it. If you buy food, they take it. If you pay your children's school fees, Momo, they take it.
We must all support the government to work.
Yeah, but we must support on ethical grounds.
I hear you.
Thank
you. Eton, your closing thoughts.
Yes.
So this is what Gakpe is saying. He clearly is not happy with you. Honorable Sepe is not happy with you. Ablanji Fagomashi is not happy with you. What are you doing wrong? They are not happy. Are you happy?
The question is, what did they do wrong? That is what you should ask them. When they had opportunity, I don't even want us to go there because people are crying.
But you called them incompetent. You called them incompetent.
Just a minute. You allowed them to speak.
You can't be rating yourself.
Johnny, you allowed them to speak.
I will allow you. But I ask questions to your head. You can't be equating yourself as competent ones to a standard you called incompetent.
They are our big brothers and sisters in a particular field, belonging to particular people. That is how come when time comes for us to cast our vote, we give them a chunk of it because we believe that they can do it. Now, even when he was talking about the budget situation, he mentioned some names, and then you asked him that I saw somebody in the house, and he just told you that, oh, the person was brought in. So all this name calling and all that, this person is not in, I think is an issue that
Truth be told, I didn't see Dakwan Newman, I didn't see Ajwa Safo,
but you saw Amwakota,
but I saw the roads minister.
So what shows that the others were not in? I'm not sure you saw all the 200
where I was seated, I went with an eagle eye. I saw everything.
So you saw all the
I stayed in Parliament till 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, so the fact that he's mentioned a name that was actually there should tell you that we cannot trust the rest of them. So till
Ajwa Safo is the
in,
leader of the house. She would have been seated on the front bench. She was not there.
Johnny,
I saw Hawa Kumsin sit in a chair for some time and walk off. She was not in the chamber. That I can tell you. I can put my salary on it.
You know what? The fact that you mentioned a name and that turns out that the person was in there, I cannot trust the rest until I see the
You don't trust me too. You don't trust me too.
No, because he mentioned it. We need to be sure and you're talking to people. So once you are telling them that Amwakwata wasn't in there, And it turns out now you are clarifying that morning. It turns out that the man was there.
You're focusing on Amakwata that I validated, but you are not focusing on Ajwa Safu that I'm also validating.
No,
that's unfair.
Let's leave that side because our people are still crying. The people are still crying.
Okay.
The people are still crying.
Okay.
Now, he mentioned something about development.
That's right.
Governance is a continuous process. That we must know. He and his colleagues shouldn't go to bed when they get to power in 2032 or 20-something. Now, how do we solve the problems that we have as one?
That's your question.
How do we solve it?
That's your question. What answer is there?
We are doing it. We are doing it. And he can attest to it. And I'm happy that when you push him, he mentioned that, something is going on here. Something is going on here. And he just spoke about the fact that the people of Hohwe voted for Ameu because he did A, B, C, and D. The people of Angloga and Co have been voting for you people for so long. What is there to show? Is it just about the noise? We should move away from that. The people are genuinely suffering. Development is needed.
I hear you.
We need to move the conversation.
You have the power now. What's your promise to the people?
Yes, we're doing it. They know that we are doing it. Me coming here today to represent the regional minister. A good government is one that creates room for people to operate. So if a government wants to be so blocked, they will tell all agencies that want to support this system to send them to a dedicated location for them to do whatever. We've given room for people to operate, just as he has room to work. Let him do the work. Let him do the advocacy.
We need to go to our ladies.
That noise.
He said go and take the 1.75 off the Momo tax off the budget, and they will approve it. Include Volta region, stop the re-centralization of the property rate, go to GRA, solve about 5 issues, and then they will approve the budget.
Okay, the last point on the Momo tax and all. I don't like the fact that we just criticize without offering solutions or alternatives. Government clearly wants to touch base with almost everybody in the system to make sure that everybody pays something little. If you think that the Momo tax is too harsh, what would you do if you were
IEA says 0.5. You have not listened to IEA.
So clearly it's just about the amount.
That's right.
So we should review it downwards.
Right.
But you are not against the whole Momo tax.
The finance minister was not even in parliament for the debate. The whole week, he was there on Friday to ask for injury time. And I was in parliament the whole week and on Friday at 11:30.
No, so I want to get something right.
What you want
so
to do?
Clearly you are not against the whole Momo tax.
I'm not against anything. I'm asking you questions, the questions of the people.
No, you just mentioned that IEA says it should be dropped.
Yes,
to
that's IEA's position.
0.5.
That's IEA's
so what is your position?
I don't have a position.
What is his position?
My job is to host TV3Newday. Thank you very much. To Honorable Etanam Flolu, he is the DCA for Afajatu South, a representative of the regional minister, Dr. Archibald Iao Lechap. And also, Honorable Gakpe is the MP, for Keta constituency. We'll